the desert of the real.
Welcome to the Desert of the Real. I'm your host, Jason Dietz. Joined with me, as always, is your slightly insane co-host,
Ryan Hudson.
The Desert of the Real is a movie podcast. In this edition, Jason's Choice Edition, where I select movies I think are amazing and that Ryan generally hasn't seen. And we watch it and talk about how awesome it is and how my movie taste is so much better than Ryan's movie taste. So, for today's episode, we have watched the film Stonehearst Asylum from 2014, I believe, starring, among other people, Kate Beckinsale, Michael Caine, Ben Kingsley, the one dude that plays Mickey Finn. I recognize him. I don't know. Lots of awesome.
The main character I know most from the Beatles musical Across the Universe.
Great.
You know, they don't make a lot of Pink Floyd musicals.
Just The Wall, the greatest film ever made.
Okay, hear that?
Musical album.
Dietz said The Wall is the greatest film ever made. That's just
from a musical album.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So we're here to see if Stonehearst Asylum has anything deep to say. We're two English language arts high school teachers. That's so much. Oh, wait, with graduate degrees. That's a lot. I mean...
How do we shorten? Let's ask AI how to shorten that.
And we attempt to use our academic training to dig deeply into movies. We explore the creativity, philosophy, film studies, and ethics in our films, and push our listeners to think critically about their entertainment. And if you're listening, odds are you already know that and are already thinking that way, in which case, congratulations.
Yeah, I had a student today being like, well, he's like, I'm not taking your film studies class. I'm taking film appreciation. I was like, what? Mine's better. As a joke. He's like, do you have to do things in your class? I'm like, yeah, we talk about the movies. We write about the movies. Like, yeah, I just want to watch the movies. I literally said, I believe that if you appreciate the art of film, you would appreciate the film better. Like how it's made, all the things you might not be...
Absolutely.
Anyway, I had that conversation today.
Well, see, so there's still work to be done.
Yeah.
There's still people to be converted.
Okay, I think before we get too far, because I don't know how many people are familiar with Stonehearst Asylum, can you give a spoiler-free summary?
Sure. So, the movie opens with, I think it's... When is it? Oh, it's
like
at
1899.
It's the turn of the century. 1899 in a, I think they were called a surgery theater.
Oh, yes. Those are, aesthetically, those are super cool.
Yeah. So there's a doctor, they're called alienists, a doctor of the mind.
And admittedly, I keep interjecting. Why
don't you
we stopped doing summaries because it took so long, and here we are. Let's summarize it. And here I am. I just got all these things I want to say.
Well, then let's just skip it. It's about a Stonehearst Asylum. A new doctor that's doing. What is it called? Internship? No. What do they do when the doctor goes and is there, but they're not a doctor yet?
I think in this movie he just wants to be a doctor there. He wants to get a job.
Right, but like in a medical field, when a medical doctor, between they finish their schooling and they become a doctor, there's this practicum of anyhow, whatever. So he's there to do a practicum, and he meets Dr. Lamb, who is the superintendent of Stonehearst Asylum. He meets all of the patients, and then there are various mysteries involved in Stonehearst Asylum that are revealed. But even after the mysteries are revealed, the story still drives you to try and anticipate what is going to happen with all of these. I mean, some of them are obviously, insane. Some are less obviously insane, but kind of what's going to happen. And I think the ending of it is flawless.
I think the ending is what makes this
good.
Better than average movie, basically.
Oh, wow. That's some serious shade for one of my movies.
Anyway, after this point, if you do not want to watch the movie, Spoil for you.
Spoilers.
Probably stop here and then come back. This movie is on Amazon, and at the moment it's also on like Tubi and Pluto, which are free.
Cool.
But we'll be spoiling it as we go from here on out.
His name's David Thewlis.
We're talking about different. That's Remus Lupin from Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's the guy I was talking about. That's Mickey Finn.
Oh, what's Mickey Finn? What movie is that?
In this movie, that's his character's name, Mickey Finn.
They even like talk about
yes,
it,
and there's jokes about it and everything.
I'm just trying to think of whatever.
That's okay.
Anyway, hey, so I asked our dear listeners, what is their favorite insane asylum movies?
Oh.
And we got one response, but this is what's...
That's pretty good. That's like 5%.
And it's our past and future guest, George Harrison. No.
Martin Harris. I don't think he would take kindly to that.
I'll leave it in then. Just kidding. Our responder said his favorite is Shutter Island was good until the contrivances at the end. Disagree about that.
I do too, actually.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest might be perfect. And then Professor and the Madman, which I have not seen, was magnificent.
I haven't seen that either.
And he also says Awakenings was poignant.
Oh, I love Awakenings.
I don't know if I even...
That was my favorite movie for quite a while, actually.
I don't know if
it's got Robin Williams in it and Robert De Niro. I don't know that technically counts as an insane asylum movie. It's more of a sanitarium movie. But that is a beautiful movie.
I feel like Shutter Island is kind of like the crown jewel of insane asylum movies.
Well, yes. Unless you count splatter flicks and stuff like that.
Yeah, which we don't. The one I always want to throw in from me that I love is A Cure for Wellness.
Have not
some similar themes, because most it's like, oh, a doctor comes into a place, maybe not everything is what it seems type of thing, but to that extent they have some similarities. But that one's really cool.
I think this is probably my favorite.
Have you ever read the story?
No.
I thought about reading it, but one time on this podcast we watched one of your movies, and I forget what it's called. It's the time travel one, the time loop one with the man is played by an actress.
Oh,
remember that one?
Yeah.
What is that called?
Predestination.
Predestination. And I was like, oh, based on a short story? Let me read that first. And then I read it like, oh, I bet that's what happens in this movie.
Spoilers! I read the story it's based on.
What? I knew all the twists and turns for that one too. But I've not read this one. But
it's based on an Edgar Allan Poe story. So
I was like on my toes. Like, in fact, let me read you my notes. As the movie was going, I was like trying to make predictions. So I want to say this right away. Like almost one of the first few scenes. Ooh, a twist. He's not a doctor. Is he breaking her out? That was my prediction super early on, because he says in the mirror, like, you're a doctor, or something. And then later it says, oh, I just don't think I'm a doctor because I just became a doctor. But I was like, is he breaking her out? Is this his wife? But that wasn't exactly what happens. And then it's like, oh, he sees all the people in the basement, and you're like, okay, so what's going on here? Is Lamb the crazy one? Yeah, it's not. It doesn't really play with that. I actually kind of wish it played with what's the truth more. Is this, are the people in the basement
telling the truth?
It doesn't, in my mind, really play with that.
No.
It's kind of more straightforward. But
well, in that sense.
Yes. But like, at first I was like trying to watch out for the twists and turns. So I was like, ooh, is Lamb actually the good guy, or is Salt actually the good guy?
That's one of my philosophical questions, actually. Yeah.
And to this movie's credit, like, I think there's some issues I have with the movie, but it isn't like all in black and white. There's a lot of gray area.
A lot of gray.
Like ethics and stuff that it plays in. And like you already said, the ending is what makes like, okay, it's better than like your average movie you've never heard of.
True. Yeah. I have 2 pages of notes, so I don't know how much of this we'll get to, but...
My biggest con is how Kate Beckinsale's character is kind of not necessarily portrayed, but how other characters are just like, it's almost like assumed, oh, of course we are gonna get together because you're the attractive one. And it just kind of, to me, watching it, the Jim Sturgis character, who I don't remember his name, no, Newgate, that's actually kind of important. I have notes about the names later on. But he's like, I need you to come with me, or we can escape together. It's like, yeah, but you don't know each other. She's just attractive. And I feel like
yeah, but
I feel like the movie just kind of shortcutted some of the relationship or emotions because.
But this is 125 years ago.
Yeah, but it was made 10 years ago.
But it's set 125 years ago. I feel like that I did not have a problem. I feel like I think that's true to history. But it's
fair.
also a part of his obsession, which is like, okay, yeah, we're in spoiler territory.
Yeah.
So he is a patient, and he is an obsessive patient. That's what his illness is. He can't let go of a session. So he saw her one time, and it became his obsession. So I don't know that there's a way to be more sensitive and still true to what's finally revealed at the end about his character.
I mean, it's not like it breaks the movie for me, but there was just a few times where it's like, oh, good, you're here, set me free. And she's like, you had a picture of me in your pocket?
Yeah.
How dare you? I'm like, okay, this seems kind of...
But the creepier part is...
kind of forced.
It wasn't his picture, one. The other doctor had it in his watch.
That didn't even click until just now.
That's the creepier part of that, but...
Oh, actually, okay, so there's one more movie I want to just bring into the conversation. It's a movie, admittedly, I don't like because I think it's got fundamental actual issues with how it treats feminism. But there's a movie called it's called Poor Things, where the setup is interesting. It's like, let's put a baby's brain in an adult body and watch what happens, and it's this adult woman kind of seeing everything, learning everything for the first time. And it does...
sounds like a terrible movie.
Right. And it's also set similar in the 1800s, like old-timey.
Okay.
It's also kind of vaguely not reality at all, because the point being, that movie's kind of a critique on how, like, how do these scientists or these male doctors treat their female patients?
Yeah.
And to that extent, there are connections, but I think, even though I just said I had problems with it, this movie actually does it a little bit better. I think, even though Poor Things is attempting to say something significant with women and how they're portrayed, I think it goes so much into the extreme, it's doing the opposite. And people would have disagreed with that, but to this movie's credit, this one right here, Stonehearst, I think how it deals with 1800s feminism and doctors and stuff, it's probably the best version we can see around.
Yeah.
I would say.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's positive, I agree. I don't have any cons, so if you want to keep going, I think this is pretty dang close to perfect.
It's not really a con if it's something I wish was done differently, I suppose. Like I already said, like, oh, can we play with this or that a little bit more? But I do like this movie.
Cool. Well, okay. So I have, I guess, 4 main pros, and then they all have a ton of quotes underneath them.
All right.
Or not all of them, but... And I'm going to steal 2 of your film studies things, so I want you to go first with pros, so that if you don't say them, then I'm not stealing them from you.
I'll just go with what I think is, like, why the ending works is probably the biggest pro I have. Besides the fact the whole atmosphere is just kind of fun, you know, the time period, the mise en scène, if you will.
I even wrote that in my notes.
Mise en scène.
There's one, that's one of my 4.
And you could get into more, but it's just kind of a fun time period, basically.
Yeah.
But I think the ending, and this is probably why I was thinking Poor Things, because it's very, very crucial that Newgate, our main guy, was not one of the doctors. Like, he wasn't... It's one of the fun twists at the end. It's like, oh, I saw you that day. And we don't see him during that flashback, which is, you know, it's like showing us without showing us.
Right.
But you just assume he's one of the doctors, and then it's like, it turns out he's a patient.
Not a doctor.
This ending works so much better when he was also a patient and not a guy who saw her.
Right.
You know?
And so one of my huge pros is how carefully this movie is built.
Yeah.
In terms of the clues are all there. I've seen this movie probably 10 times.
Wow, nice.
And the clues are all there from very early on that he's not a doctor, but also 2, that he's not there to help necessarily. He's there on his own. So my favorite one I love this movie. So my favorite one is the initial consultation between Lamb and Newgate. Has there's a cuckoo clock.
Yeah.
And as soon as he says, I don't remember what he says. As soon as he says something like, I'm here as a doctor to learn, the cuckoo clock goes off.
Yeah.
And it's just very subtle things like that all throughout the movie. Before we know that, there's been a revolution, there's subtle little things that hint at there's a revolution that has happened. These are all patients. Like you can watch all of the characters' faces, like all of the patients' faces, and their faces reveal like some fear, some anxiety, some I don't know what to do, I don't know what to go on, whatever. We've got the name Mickey Finn is, I mean, if you know, I guess, but if you don't know what Mickey Finn is, then that would not be a little subtle clue. But when we first meet Mickey, like slipping somebody a Mickey is like giving them knockout drops or whatever.
Yeah.
So we've got that, and then just Newgate's complete obsession with her from the beginning.
Yeah.
Is, I think, the biggest clue.
That's why I thought, like, originally, like, he knows her. He's there for her. That was one of my...
Right.
But
that's not a doctor-y thing to do.
Right.
You don't go somewhere for a patient to... Yeah, anyhow. So it's just very, very careful. And it doesn't ever, in my opinion, never overplays its hand. It never slips up and, makes anything wrong. But even before we know that, what's his name? Salt, the real superintendent, is in the basement, we already have a sense that something is off.
Yeah. And
the other thing that I'm going to steal from you is the camera work. Because if you watch this movie carefully, initially the camera is very, like, normal. Like, it behaves like a normal camera would, filming a normal whatever. But if you watch, it subtly starts getting less and less normal, and more, like, the angles start shifting a little bit. And the like it's not focused on a single person as they're talking. It kind of is wandering a little bit, and it gets worse and worse and worse until the New Year's Eve party or New Year's party, whatever it is, the camera's just going nuts. It's just like all over the place,
like
super close, super around, over, behind, just not focusing. It's so awesome. And this is, I mean, I don't know if I can say this, but I'll say this is one of, in my opinion, the best examples of the camera as a character.
Oh, cool.
As a part of the story. So I love that. And it, like, just it's so subtle that you're like, and I was paying attention to it this time. You become increasingly uncomfortable with the movie, with the situation, with the characters, what's going on. And there's not really, I mean, there are narrative reasons for it, but I think the majority of the reason we become so uncomfortable is because the camera starts misbehaving.
That a little can go a long way with camera work. I was watching, there's a different movie I was also watching with my wife. And I won't say what it is because it's a minor spoiler, but like the camera's looking at the characters doing something, and then the camera just slowly starts to turn away. And it's not even a scary movie or anything, but you know that this is not how normal cameras work.
Right.
And you're put on edge immediately. Yeah. And then something kind of unexpected happens in the movie. It's just the camera can, like, literally do a lot without... It's all subconscious. It's doing a lot without telling you it's doing a lot.
Yeah, I feel like this movie was doing that not just in a single moment, but the entire movie is very slowly moving towards that. And then at the very end, like, we restore it, like the camera behaves again. When when Graves and Newgate are off wherever they are, it's now back to, everything's shiny, sunny, the camera is focused where it's supposed to be, it's not wandering, there's no weird angles. This is how it is supposed to be at the end. So I don't know. That was great.
That's a good read.
Thank you. I'm out of my element with that take, but
goodness.
Yeah.
I have some questions for you, Dr. Dietz.
All right, Master Hudson.
What is worse, being locked away unjustly or being treated inhumanely? So in the movie, the doctors are locked away.
Sure.
And they technically didn't do anything besides their job. Okay. He
Yeah.
made a face, but that's
Technically, yes.
Yes. But they were treating people inhumanely.
Right.
So I guess there's one of those not answer things. What's worse? Being locked away unjustly or treating people inhumanely, but not like so bad as breaking the law, I suppose.
So being a sadist within the law,
Yeah.
or
Being locked away
being
when
locked
you
away,
didn't technically...
I would say the being a sadist is worse. But that kind of, yeah. I think anytime we're treating other people inhumanely, that's kind of as low as we get. That's the bottom of humanity, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we in my class were building utopias, which is always so fun.
That is fun.
And it's like almost everyone is like, hey, treat people good.
Yeah.
Don't
Like, we know
don't
it.
harass people.
We know it, but sometimes we fall a little short.
Yeah. I would agree, I think. I mean, it'd be awful. I don't know. It'd be awful to be locked away when you didn't deserve it, but to be treated wrong when it's not breaking any laws or rules is also
Yeah.
probably a type of imprisonment anyway. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess for me, yeah, I would rather be locked away unjustly than treat someone. Yeah. Yeah, I'll stick by that. And that's true to what I think.
Okay, so what's worse, a corrupt system or a badly run system with good intentions? So this is, in the movie, it's corrupt when Salt's in charge and he's abusing the patients. But then when Lamb's in charge, he's doing their best, but some things are still like...
coming up significantly short.
Yeah, so it's...
I guess it's, for me to answer that would be, where is there greater suffering? Would be my question. So did they suffer? Is there greater total suffering under or the two mismanaged system and a corrupt system?
Yeah, a corrupt system.
So is there greater total suffering under the corrupt system or under the mismanaged system? So I would say that the corrupt system is worse by that one measurement. I would say that the total suffering was much higher under the corrupt system. What do you think?
Well, what's interesting is how like comparing this to real world things, because obviously if you heard that doctors were taken over by patients to run, if that was just a news story, you'd be like, well, that's not right.
Sure.
That's the wrong way to do things.
Sure.
But if you knew, like, oh, they're being abused, essentially, or being treated inhumanely, like, well, that's not good either. And, like, if you look, like, if you spread out the scope, the only reason these doctors are awful is because, kind of, in the year 1899... we did not have the same, I guess, ethical principles that we're used to having.
I guess, but in this system, I don't know. The way that it's presented is that they were well beyond accepted medical practice at that time.
And I agree with you, but it's interesting to think about, like, well, what if you heard about it? Or, like, what if, like...
and that's framing.
Right.
Yes.
Which makes you think how many news stories you just didn't know the real truth to the thing that was happening.
I would say close to 100%.
Whoa, Deets, that's a big one. But I mean, I hate to use the word systemic, but I feel like in 1899 the doctors were just used to being like a certain type of control or way to do things that would eventually have changed, especially with our understanding of like mental handicapped people as the years and decades go on, you know?
Yeah.
Even in, there used to be experimental surgeries, and even lobotomies and all these things that we just don't do anymore because of what we've learned through science. So it's like part of it is a time thing of when things happen and how things happen.
Right. Yes, you're right.
But you don't want the answer with the most suffering to be the...
Well, I mean, that's just my yardstick. That's certainly not the only yardstick.
I don't want anyone to suffer.
Yeah. I'm going to just read something that may or may not shed some light on what you're asking.
Go for it, Deets.
Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, it is the right of the people to alter it or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness.
Wow, did you just come up with that on the spot?
Just off the top of my head.
Wow.
So, if we accept the Declaration of Independence, which is what that's from.
It does seem like independence was declared there, so.
Yeah. So, if we accept that that is a true statement, that whenever any system becomes detrimental or destructive to its goals, revolution is not only an option, but is required.
Yeah.
It's our civic duty to revolt. Then, yeah, I think Lamb and his buddies were definitely in the right. I mean, this is just another way to look at the same question that you just asked. So, I don't know. If those founding fathers were right, then...
it seems like a pretty good primary source to pull from, dudes.
Thanks. So now I'm trying to come up with the argument for perpetuating a broken system. And given my mindset, I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, if you were stranded on an island and someone was nominated the leader, but things weren't the best, that's kind of what maybe another way to think of it. It's like, a different type of leadership might help us out better. Or whatever. Maybe I just read Lord of the Flies recently.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my statement for both of those reasons.
The only other question I have is, what's more important, freedom or justice?
Oh, man, that's a great question.
Thanks, Dietz. I came up with it watching this movie.
And I don't know. Well, okay, I will say freedom. Because in my philosophy of life, the single most important aspect of life is free will, or agency, or choosing. And so the most happiness will come when we consistently make choices that will increase our free will, increase our freedom, increase our agency.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that. Justice is such an ethically challenging concept. Because there's no objective definition of justice in any case. It's always going to be, at least in my mind, subjective to the case. Whatever instance this is, what does justice look like?
Yeah.
So, like, first degree murder, what's justice look like? Manslaughter, what's justice look like? I mean, in manslaughter, accidental manslaughter, even, the person is still dead.
Yeah.
And so what is justice there? Is justice eye for an eye? Is justice a slap on the wrist because it was an accident? Is just what is justice? So justice, I've always had a difficult time coming up with a solid philosophy for.
What's interesting, and once again, we're talking about it recently with my Utopia project, how many students, and it's what's admittedly a limited scope, are where we live, the students in our hometown, in my classroom. There's a seemingly number of kids who think certain, they see injustices happening and maybe not, punishments on the news. So there's a certain number of kids that are like, you know what if we, brought back public hangings for murders or something? Would crime go down? That has come up more than once by more than one student. Maybe.
I mean, there does seem to be a direct correlation between the severity of the punishment and the frequency of the crime.
Yeah. So we don't want to, hang loiterers, but...
I mean, if we did, there would be no more loitering. I think we'd solve that real quick.
What is it? The Code of Harambe? Not Harambe. Yeah. Hammurabi? Harambe's the gorilla.
Yeah.
Harambe's...
That's funny. I haven't thought of that guy. He had just died when I started working here.
No way.
Yeah, and so I'm like, what in the flip is Harambe? And everyone's like, justice for Harambe.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
The Code of Hammurabi, that was the concept. The punishment's so severe.
Yep.
But it kind of worked, though.
It does.
It did work. But, justice. Maybe justice is more ambiguous these days is the problem.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks that...
If you have a lot of money and can pay a lot of people, then justice looks different than if you're poor and you can't.
Justice just seems to be ambiguous these days, which is kind of sad.
It's very hard to nail down. I mean, unless... Yeah, I was going to say, even in Hammurabi's code, it's not as cut and dried as it appears on the outside. So is it just to punish the same person or two people the same way when one did something on purpose and one was accidental, for example, or anything. Justice is something that I've thought a lot about and I have not yet discerned my philosophy of. So
Yeah, if you want to find out, pay the Patreon for all the deets' links to... Anyway.
So there are a couple of scenes that I think are just so well done, so well acted. So one of them is the scene where Lamb, the insane doctor, confronts Salt in the basement. That is a magnificent scene. Just like you see Michael Caine's character, like he's supposedly the good guy, the superintendent, but he's just vicious. Like, he is not kind in any way to his former patient. And you see Lamb trying to maintain, like, civility and trying, and finally he just snaps. And so, like, that's one of the scenes that is such a, like, in my mind, a defining scene for this. For answering questions like, you know, which one was worse, Lamb or Salt? Based on that scene alone, it was clearly Salt. Salt is very sadistic. Like, if he was trying to get out, he was not. That was the wrong approach.
Yeah.
But I think he just has this desperate need to hurt people, to cause pain, and even at his own expense in this scene. So I love that scene because it reveals both characters completely without saying a word about, well, you're a nice guy, you're not a nice guy, kind of thing. There's so many of them. So Lamb's like experiment, that whole scene where Lamb takes Salt up and does his experimental procedure
shocks
on
his brain.
That is just chilling. How it's filmed and how the different characters interact with each other, and you got Mickey Finn over there on the machine, and he's just he just loves causing pain and don't care. He's like, yeah, let me rev it up. You've got Newgate is like, this is wrong, this is barbaric, I'm not doing this. And then Salt, like, just, I'm bzzz, and then he makes Newgate do it, and that's another moment where we know, like, if you were, I don't know, I guess if you're paying attention, Newgate is not a doctor. Because if he was a doctor, he would have not done that. But he's so out of his...
Well, maybe not. The Lamb is telling him to. Lamb's his senior...
mentor.
Yeah, he's like, hey, do this.
I guess that's
And as
fair.
Far as he knows, Lamb does it...
But he knows at that point that Lamb is not a doctor.
I know, but he doesn't know... If Lamb knows, he knows about Salt. So it's like, do I gotta... he's gotta play the part. I don't know.
I guess. But even... anyhow. The scene where Lamb loses it. Like, they bring back the two... Or the one escapee. And he's like, you got kicked in the head by a horse or whatever. And that's how he died. And Newgate kind of rolls him over and he's been stabbed in the back multiple times. You remember this scene? So the two of the guys pull the bars off of the basement, and they escape, and they're running through the woods.
Yes.
And Mickey Finn goes, catches them, brings it back. Oh, yeah, unfortunately he died. And Newgate rolls him over, and there's like 18 stab wounds in his back. Just, I don't know. I'm such a huge fan of Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, well, he... acts so good. He was knighted by the queen.
Just amazing. Like, he's trying to maintain, I'm a doctor, and Newgate keeps pushing him, and like, did he accidentally stab himself in the back 18 times? And then,
okay, here's the
do
thing.
you want to come look at this? And then Lamb just loses it. He's like, I'm not a coroner, and neither are you, and just stalks off. It's so good.
Okay, here's
man.
The thing about Ben Kingsley is he kind of has become... He's an Oscar-nominated actor. He's knighted by the queen, like I said. But he will do almost anything, kind of. But he does 110%.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for example, in the Marvel movies... Remember, I'm Trevor. I'm an actor.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, because he's in that Iron Man thing. But then he's in, like, Shang-Chi. And he's like, Ben Kingsley, I love what you're doing here in Shang-Chi. But... like, even though he does have a lot of movies now, like, in his catalog, and maybe not all of them are the best, it's something I think about all the time. It's such a small moment. In a movie I also don't even love, there's a movie called, I think it's called Selfless, where
I do love
Ben
that
Kingsley
movie.
wants to do the surgery to become Ryan Reynolds.
Right.
And I know everyone loves it. Like, I remember watching it with my extended family. Like, that was the best. And I'm like, Tarsem, the director, has made one of the best movies ever made, and now he's making this type of movie. So I don't like it because I know what the director has made. And anyway.
What else was the best?
He made the movie The Fall, which is one of my absolute
yet.
personal favorite movies ever.
Yeah.
But Ben Kingsley in Selfless does this thing where he's clearly sick, and there's this part where he coughs but tries to not cough. And it is just a little moment, maybe not a lot of people even considered it, but I'm like, dang, that was so well done. Yeah. And even in this movie, like I mentioned before, eye actors. He does a lot with the eyes, you know? Just, it looks like his face isn't moving, but he's doing a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ben Kingsley's good.
Yeah,
that's my main
very
point.
good. I agree. Actually, I have some questions for you. So, a quote from... So, there's a flashback sequence to, like, Dr. Salt's methods for trying to cure, and we see kind of horror after horror after horror. And right at the end of that, he says, animals like Silas Lamb must be broken to be made men again. What do you think about that quote? Do people need to be broken to become whole?
Okay. This is going to seem random, but this is what I thought. No, I don't agree with that. But there was... and it's weird to cite social media posts because I couldn't even find it if I wanted to find it, is the frustrating thing. There was some video of a beach somewhere, vacation spot, and there was some 20 or 30-something men doing like a TikTok dance, you know?
Sure.
But the video was from the side saying like... we used to go to war, now we're doing this, you know? But a comment said, men went to war so we could do this. And it's like, well, yeah, like what? We don't have to... Wouldn't we have rather be in a peaceful world right now where we can make dumb, silly videos and not have to go to war to prove ourselves?
Yeah.
I mean, but on the flip side, the counter argument is you need to be able to protect your family. I think as a father... That is something you need to be able to do.
Sure.
You got to be able to do something in case whatever happens. Like, you don't need to be the most macho guy ever. You got to be ready to, I don't know.
Sure.
Defend yourself or your family or something just in case.
Yeah.
But,
so you don't feel we need to be broken.
But I don't think you need to be broken. Yeah. I feel like, there's some quote about broken people can't fix... I don't know.
Broken people hurt people?
Yeah, something like that.
Hurt people.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're trying to be better every generation.
Yeah.
Like, how many generations, grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, were they being just because that's what happened? Or, you know, where that stopped type of thing. Yeah. I don't know. I don't
know either.
My answer is no, you do not need to break someone to
that's fair.
Be a true...
I was thinking we in philosophy class just watched like the climax scene of Split, and that's the Beast's kind of philosophy is that broken people are the more whole, they're the more human because they haven't been and people who haven't been broken are less than human, which I don't really agree with, but I did think that it was an interesting kind of correlation to Salt's philosophy, like I need to break these people so that they can be healed, and the Beast from Split. So
I don't know. Another war movie, the All Quiet on the Western Front, World War I, or guys have gone through awful, like the worst thing. I don't know if that matches up with
Salt's philosophy.
And Split's philosophy either.
Yeah. I would agree. However, I do think there is something to be said for experiencing difficult things. Okay. Not necessarily breaking us, but I do feel like I am who I am right now largely, if not entirely, because of the hard, difficult, crushing things that I've been through, more so than the times that were easy and smooth and painless. So
2 arguments for that, Dietz.
Okay.
Because you're right, obviously, but
maybe
I also think just everyday life is going to do that to you too.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not saying we need to ask somebody, hey, can you break me so I can be awesomer.
Yeah, like, I think just how awful life can be sometimes.
Yeah.
Dealing with family or friends or your job or school will do some of that.
Yeah,
Naturally.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I agree. I think you got to be able to know what you can take.
Yeah.
You gotta, like I was saying earlier, even just my own words, like, you got to be able to be prepared too, even mentally. Like, you got to mentally or emotionally support your family. You got to be ready for that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm trying to play both sides, but I also think it is a both sides type of question.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. There's a quote.
Go for it.
This is Newgate and Graves are just kind of talking. I don't remember what Kate Beckinsale's character said about Lamb, but Newgate says, if he does, then I will kill him. She says, careful when you speak like that, you don't sound like a doctor. And then he responds, when I'm with you, I forget that I am. That's one of those just little, subtle little... He's not a doctor. He's not who he seems he is. It's just, I don't know. I thought it was very well done in terms of just seeding and planting. And anyhow. So my favorite two scenes in the movie come right near the end. Like the New Year's party.
Yeah.
Is just like, it's magnificent in every respect. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a better sequence of shots to illustrate like the inmates are running the asylum. Like, this is so completely gone and over and out of control and whatever. The camera work is amazing. The sounds, the faces, the everything. Oh man.
It's also it's super. It's well done because you're like, oh, all they need to do is this, or this thing needs to happen, and then it doesn't. Or like Mickey, what's his face?
Mickey Finn.
He gets in the way.
Yeah.
Oh, they're about to drink the stuff. Yeah. No, he gets in the way again. Oh no, this is he's tied up. Like it just keeps escalating.
Yeah, getting more and more insane.
Which was a lot of fun as a viewer.
Man, it's so well done. And then the immediate scene following that, like leading up to them doing the procedure on Newgate, is the same thing. It's just absolutely insane. Everything about it. Like, and then Finn's death is fantastic. Like, just, this is the moment when Graves just is like, yeah, no, I'm done being an object. I'm done being somebody that, gets touched and I go into this spasm or whatever. She knees him in the nuts and he's like on the ground, and then he picks up the things and she just chucks a bucket of water on him, and she doesn't chuck a bucket of water. He picks him up. He's wet somehow.
He's covered in coal dust.
Is that what it is? Oh, that's what it is. And he just shouts to the obviously insane guy running the generator, crank it up. And so Finn's dead. I don't know. I love everything about this. So if we're want to try and talk about justice, the way that all four main characters, I guess five if we count Mickey Finn, ends, they all end in a way that I feel like is just. Or at the very least satisfying, because we know who Salt was. Mm-hmm. He showed us in this scene in the basement, but we also saw all the flashbacks. Maybe at some point in his past, he actually was trying to help, actually trying to cure, actually trying to lift or whatever. But that is long in the past. We can see that, and so him ending up as a patient that is unrecoverable. You don't want anybody to see that or be that subjected to that, but it feels right. It feels just.
Well, the interesting thing about Lamb is the thing that he did that broke him is also like kind of justice too, in a way.
Right.
I mean, he kills like 5 or 6.
Yeah, or 7.
Oh my. But like, I mean, it's the one at the end. He's just sitting there with no arms, Yeah. It's like, well, obviously you don't want to... I mean, you can survive, but in 1800s, no arms, your life is going to be a lot worse. Yeah. So is it an act of kindness on the Lamb's part type of thing?
Right.
Maybe not all of them, but they are bleeding and dying to some extent,
So so it's understandable. Like a doctor, like his job is to heal and alleviate suffering. Yeah. And he finally gets to the point where he recognizes, like, I cannot do what I have been trained to do.
And he was going to kill himself too, but he ran out of bullets. But
so that means there was 6.
Oh,
because there was 6. It was a 6-shooter. So
right.
I have a lot of favorite scenes, but this one might be my favorite scene. There's a scene where Newgate, who by the end of the movie we know is not a doctor, is like comes across this old lady that won't eat because she's waiting for her son, and he just becomes her son for a moment long enough to ensure that she's going to continue eating and she's not going to starve herself to death.
Compared to how Salt did it.
Right.
Strap her to the table, force feed the milk down her throat, basically.
So even if we think he's a doctor at that moment, that's a great scene.
Yeah.
But knowing he's not and looking back on that scene, he's a great human being. He's just, he's a whole person. He's the kind of person that we would hope everyone would be. He could have very easily not done that or not done any of the things that he did to help the people.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think his end is also just. Because he is a good person. Whatever his obsessive nature is and whatever else he was committed for, he's a good he demonstrated that he's a good person. And then Kate Beckinsale's character, I think, never actually should have been there.
Well, there's also a guy that's there because, quote, he doesn't like trains.
Yes.
I was wondering what that guy was up to when all this stuff was going on at the end.
That whole introduction.
The guy who doesn't like trains seeing Newgate strapped, about to be electrocuted, is like, I don't like trains, but I don't know how I feel about this.
Oh, man. It's so good. So good. I don't know how much of this you want me to just keep going.
Yeah.
I have this huge list of quotes that I love. Death cannot be prevented any more than madness cured. There is no cure for the human condition. That's Lamb. There are a few therapies better at restoring the soul than music. That is also Lamb, and that is also something I actually agree with. The restorative power of music, and also the destructive power of music, which is why I'm always kind of concerned when depressed people are listening to depressing music, because
it does kind of somewhat, not therapeutic. It feels good to pretend you're in a sad music video, looking out the window, listening to some sad song.
Right at the very beginning of the movie, there's the quote, "Believe nothing that you hear and only one half of what you see."
That's that's telling us, the audience.
Yes.
That was to us.
It's so well seated. I love this movie.
Oh, I have a quote.
Yeah.
The guy who thinks he's a horse.
Yeah.
Why don't you fix it? And make a miserable man out of a perfectly happy horse.
Okay, that's one of the things I wanted us to talk about.
Yeah.
Philosophically, is that true? Does it matter philosophically if your reality and my reality are not the same reality?
And if someone's happy?
Yeah, if you're happy living in this reality where whatever's going on, you're not hurting anyone, is that okay? Or do we need to restore people to our version of reality? The generally accepted version of reality?
I'm tempted to just say to leave it, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Would it be better to break their happy reality? Because I just thought, there are people grown-ups that think they're like children or something.
Sure.
They're not that's just how they identify. It's not like a mental thing. Or is it I don't know. But
I don't know either.
I don't know. I remember that guy who spent that ludicrous amount of money to buy a realistic dog suit because he wanted to be a dog. Remember that?
No.
Well, you're lucky, but I don't know, actually. Maybe not. Is it giving into someone's
delusions?
Delusions?
Who's to say what the delusion is? I don't know.
Okay, hold on.
That's why this movie's so fun.
There is a beautiful movie called Lars and the Real Girl. Have you heard of this?
No.
It's got Ryan Gosling in it, and it's super low budget, but it's literally... I'm going to look up a quote from the director of it, because the plot of the movie is Lars falls in love with this mannequin.
Okay.
And
pass.
But in a very kind of beautiful way, everyone kind of supports him in this thing.
Okay.
I really like this movie, for the record. And this is from the screenwriter said about making this movie, if there are so many desperate people walking around with mental illness, what would happen if we treated their illusions with compassion and acceptance and tolerance?
Yeah.
So there's some sort of fine line with, like, you gotta just love them for who they are.
Right.
But is there a danger?
It's the same trouble I think most teachers that are, teachers run into. Like, we can see our students' potential, our students' abilities if they would just fill in the blank. And so if they're happy, scrolling TikTok on their phones, should we be breaking that?
Is this a straw man to my...
Well, no. It's just the only real world example I have immediately. So should we be breaking that happiness in order to get them into our reality where they need to focus and they need to learn and they need to grow and develop? Anyhow, so you're right. There's a line somewhere, and I don't know where it is, but leaving someone being a horse...
He's not hurting anyone.
He's not hurting anyone. I don't know if you can... I don't know. That's why I love this movie, because there's so many things like that I don't know.
Like, he also wouldn't hurt you if you tried to tell him he wasn't a horse. Maybe there's something there where it's like...
understand it.
If you infringe other people's rights, even if they don't agree with what... I don't know, your viewpoint... That's a good point.
So that's one of several things in this movie that I'm like, I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. It's fun to play with.
Let's get... I want to talk about my little thing, and then let's play around with yours.
Yeah.
So I just...
Sorry. This is the problem we run into when I pick the movie, because I love them, and there's so much in it that I love.
Dietz, you're acting like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them wasn't this thematically deep.
That's a fair critique. I will try to rein it in.
Anyway, I basically...
It's up there with Birdemic and...
Yeah. I guess it's a literary lens, because you can treat a lot... If it can apply to a book and a movie, that's literary lens. Like characters, plot, setting, blah, 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 blah. But what I wanted to focus on is like the symbolic meaning of their names and a few other things. So, for example... Lamb. His name is Lamb. And I, right away, basically was like... Lamb is not a bad guy's name. And you're supposed to kind of maybe think that he's in the wrong because he does some things. And, like when Salt is like, he murdered 6 people. It's like, oh, murder's bad.
Yeah.
He took over. That's not good either. The Lamb is very on purpose, I think. And so is Salt, so is Newgate, so is Graves. So, for example, Lamb, a few things, how I'm interpreting it, he's kind of putting himself up to sacrifice, the sacrificial lamb.
Sure.
He's like, I got to do this for everyone else.
I can see that.
I will be the one to take charge or, the helm, because I'm the man to do it, basically. Newgate, also kind of obvious. New gate, like a new door opening. He is the doorway to either stop whatever happening or to save Graves type of thing. Yeah. He is literally the new door or the way out to change things, which he does. He lets everyone through the new way that he presented. Graves is a little bit tricky, and I don't know if there's one specific thing, but I think we're supposed to feel like she's maybe in her grave or something. Like we're supposed to think she's doomed when I think it's kind of an ironic name, where it's the opposite reality.
Sure.
Because Graves sounds bad and morbid, and maybe it's because that's how everyone literally sees her. And there's that one quote that says, right at the beginning, just as every criminal assumes he's innocent, so does every mad woman claim she's sane. Yeah. She's been told she's crazy, and I think
and she accepts the label several times in the movie.
Right. So I think maybe there's something there. You're supposed to she just assumes she's great. So Salt is maybe a little bit more interesting. I Salt's good mostly. Oftentimes. I googled some things like. Could be loyalty, purity, cleansing, perseverance, performance, hospitality, friendship, value, and wisdom. So maybe it's also an ironic name, like or like the salt of the earth or something, where it's like he in his mind he's doing the right thing, but also I guess also salt to wound is what hurts really bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes salt could be a bad thing. Yeah. I think it's he is, it's not necessarily bitter, but he is the salty character. Like,
Sure.
he's the one that, he's the bad guy, if anything.
Sure.
Another symbolic thing I noticed, and maybe not everyone would, is because the song that they start playing at the party, like you already mentioned out, they're kind of like, they're going crazy. Do you know what that song is called?
I don't.
Well, I do, because I'm fancy. It's
You're cultured and educated.
It's the dance of the macabre, or the macabre if you're extra fancy. But
or the macabre.
Macabre.
If you're super fancy.
The technical story behind the music is a medieval allegory, an artistic theme where skeletons rise from graves at midnight to lead people of all social classes, kings, peasants, pope, in a ghastly dance to the underworld, symbolizing death as a great equalizer. So that's like the usual story, like it's kind of Halloween-y. In fact, remember House of Mouse on Disney Channel? There's just a straight up Disney Mickey Mouse cartoon just to this music, all with like skeleton spooks and stuff, you know. So it's usually to spooky time things, because it's like, hey, skeletons dancing, dance of the macabre.
Sure.
But like in this movie, symbolically, it's like them dancing their own death.
Sure.
You know, there's that poison. Champagne. It's maybe the last dance they'll ever do, as far as they know, because everything's falling apart. But it's just on purpose. The song choices, it's on the nose. But if you didn't know,
I didn't. But that's super cool.
It's there. It's not that it's an obscure song at all. It's famous as any classical Beethoven and Mozart you already know. It's in a lot of things, but.
Cool.
Maybe you didn't know it, listener. I don't know.
I did not know it. So
anyway, and because we're gonna let Dietz have full reign here, I was like, obviously, psychoanalytic lens is on the nose, and you can identify ids, egos, superegos, who's in control, and all that stuff. But I just thought maybe the one thing that is kind of cool is sanity and madness are not opposites. In this, you know, like at the end, the quote unquote crazy people are acting saner than like the doctor, you know? They're just, there's a spectrum, you could say.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
There's a lot of the beautiful area between where this movie plays with.
Yeah, yes. And never actually nails anything down.
And like,
which is why I love it.
And like, what is believed as the doctor who is corrupt? Does he have more authority than the patient who's doing a better job at taking care of people?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like how you see authority. You know, if you repress things like Graves or Lamb, it can make things worse.
For sure.
Anyway, there's just some.
Yeah, all of those are right. All of those are key themes, and they're not answered. There's just, here it is. And you think about it, I've thought about this movie for a long time, off and on. Just so much there. So back to me.
Back to you.
There's some amazing quotes, like foil quotes. So at some point in there, Dr. Lamb says, I believe all men can be rehabilitated often by the simple act of having their dignity restored. That's a fantastic line. Salt says in his flashback, when you have discovered the thing that a man fears most, you will have discovered the key to his madness, and by that the means to control him. And so we have these two perfect foil quotes that reveal the men, but also like introduce a whole almost philosophy of life in these two sentences. So both of those. If we want to go deeper into it, both of those statements are true. And so it's not that one is correct and one is incorrect. They're both true statements. If you understand what a person fears, you're willing to use that, you can absolutely control them. But on the other hand, if you restore dignity or enable dignity, you also, the word control has a lot of negative connotations. Empower or enable. You're in charge. You are the enabler of their happiness, their success, their rehabilitation in the context of this movie.
Yeah, it's funny thinking with my kids are super small, or they're young, but when they do something naughty or whatever, it's like, hey, if you do that again, I'll throw your shoes away. Or no TV or whatever, with that stuff. But it's like, no, don't do that, But then on the other
Unless you're a
side,
salty parent.
well,
You're not a lammy parent. I don't know.
no, I'm trying to think
that's
of
totally
some example. I don't know.
That's-
But like when you praise them, especially when they're young, they
Yeah.
you just see that hit them so
just
much.
the glow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyhow, and there's another one with Lamb and Graves, where like at the bonfire, Lamb is like, he's so good. Ben Kingsley is so amazing, but he's like so proud and excited and happy, and he's like, tonight we shall warm ourselves by the fire of our ignominious past. That's such a great line. I love the word, and that's juxtaposed with Graves just a little bit later. When he's like, Lamb is like, we're heading to a better place, and she's like, this was supposed to be a better place. And so in Lamb's mind, like, he has accomplished something great. He has liberated them. They're burning all of these artifacts from when they were suffering.
Yeah.
But he can't see it the way Graves sees it. And so she's like, yep, no, this is a failure. We have failed. And so it's just so interesting. The same events, the same situation, the same everything, how Lamb sees it so completely different from Graves. It's just really interesting to me.
Go.
Couple of philosophical things. We already kind of touched on this one, but at some point Newgate says, misery has a way of clarifying one's convictions. I think that is very true. I think that when things are easy, when things are smooth, it's very easy to like let our convictions slide a little bit and a little bit more and a little bit more. But when things suck, or when we're fighting against, what we view as evil or wrong or whatever, our convictions become very clear. There aren't gray areas around the edges of what we strongly believe, because misery wipes those away. And so, again, I'm not saying, we need more misery in our lives or whatever, but I am saying those moments that are miserable are the moments where we can see ourselves most clearly.
Life is interesting in a way where it's funny how sometimes when you're living through something, or for a while, it's like, wow, this isn't the best. One day it'll get better. But then later in life, years go by and you're like, wow, actually, I kind of miss those times when it's just, I don't know. Life is interesting that way.
It is interesting. I love it.
But that's why
life.
You're a positive person.
Generally, yeah. I'm a realist. Leaning towards an optimist, I guess.
I don't know if I'd call you a realist, but I would call you an optimist. But I don't know. There's something powerful about either understanding yourself in misery or just the power of positive thinking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm a huge proponent of positive thinking.
Yeah.
Other philosophically bent quotes. Lamb is talking to Graves, and he says, "We will not be discovered for the simple reason that no one cares." That's chilling to me.
Yeah.
But I think it's also philosophically so true. That I don't know if it's humanity generally, but certainly U.S. culture has evolved to the point that the only people, generally speaking, we care about are us. Us and our immediate us's. Like, this is us. We've talked about this so many times. Those are them. We don't really care what happens to them. It's us. And so misery, suffering, injustice, all can just go on simply because we can't get out of ourselves enough to do anything about it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was philosophically interesting as well. Let's keep going. So Lamb at one point says, "We're all mad, Dr. Newgate. Some of us are simply not mad enough to admit it." I love that.
Yeah.
Because like, to get back to like the reality, like with the horse guy, in a very real sense, and we've talked about this also, our reality, Like our individual reality is our own.
Yeah.
And it's not the same as anyone else's individual reality.
Yeah.
And so the interesting thing about we're all mad, some of us are simply not mad enough to admit it, is in a very real sense, he's true.
Yeah.
From a certain definition of madness, we are all mad. We're crazy because our reality is different. And so this is just an interesting philosophical game to play, to try and discern, okay, what are the boundaries of our shared reality, and how much of myself and what I think is outside of that, and then how much percentage of our reality has to be outside before we're considered crazy. It's just a lot. I mean, it's so much. What? Go ahead.
Well, two things. Like, do you know we all go a little mad sometimes?
Oh, yes.
What's that from?
Alice in Wonderland. No, what is it?
It's Psycho. But like,
Psycho.
But
I meant Psycho.
But
no,
it's just their perspective. It's their reality. Who's to say we're not the crazy ones? Or that's the extreme statement. But it's like.
I mean, if Lamb's right, we are the crazy ones.
I know.
Just some of us are.
There's something kind of beautiful too if you get to know someone's crazy. You know, like
their unique craziness.
Their unique craziness. I remember one time I was on a walk with my wife, and I was like, "Do you ever daydream about being a superhero?" She goes, "No." I was like, "What about daydream like being a super spy or a rock star or this or that?" She's like, "No. I daydream about how to decorate my house or things I want to organize." Like, and when you get married, you get this person you love, you get to know so well and stuff. And the differences between my wife and I could be labeled as our different madnesses, our different obsessions or different. Obsession points is probably the best one, but that's one way to kind of.
That's awesome. We're all mad here. That's the Cheshire Cat. Anyhow, I like that a lot. So I guess. Overall, philosophically, the question that I wrote down as kind of encapsulating this whole movie is can we be the cure for other people? Not in the sense that like we need to stuff ourselves in or we need to go, fix people or whatever, but can we simply by virtue of being who we are to the fullest extent that we can be, can that like radiate or infiltrate people around us and lift people and conversely can we be what is the opposite of a cure? The poison, poison. The disease for other people. And so you can answer that if I'm not going to answer it, but that seems to be the main message of this movie. This movie believes that both are true. We can absolutely be the cure for other people, but we can also absolutely be the disease for other people. And so if we boil our entire interpersonal relationships down to that one question, what do we want to be? And are we being what we want to be? And if we're not, what do we need to change?
This is where it reminds me of Othello, Shakespeare's Othello. Iago is like one of the worst villains ever. And it's just little things he does.
Yep.
Like he didn't have to be a bad guy, but he got jealous or whatever of Othello.
Yeah.
And by slowly
little
tweaks, he's the poison.
Yeah.
He could have been the cure.
Uber Shakespeare bad guy.
Yeah, he's like Othello's right hand, but the thing is he also has a wife. It's not like he's loving Desdemona or whatever. It's just he just chooses to be poison.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us make that choice.
Sometimes it's tempting online where and you know this because you are a troll expert. You used to be.
Yes, I have repented. That was a long 20 plus years ago, so I have repented.
But I think that's a different thing because sometimes it's mostly just for fun. And
but other people... No, I think that's exactly the thing. Because our actions, our behaviors, our words, the way that we present ourselves and hold ourselves, that's what we give to the world. And if this movie is right, what we're giving is either a cure or a poison. And so I think it's a very real demand of this movie that we become much more aware of which of those two we are.
And I guess it's something I just re-remembered, but like at the end when it's Newgate and Graves are in their new life,
Yeah.
they've taken the name Lamb.
Yes.
So they've chosen their new identity, but it's, you know, they're taking Lamb as like, this is who we want to be like.
Yes.
And they're all wearing white, and you said like
Right.
the camera's fixed and it's like how life should be or whatever, but by choosing the good example to hopefully do something better, the cinematography and everything is telling us that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
They're wearing the white clothes, it's bright, they're dancing, it's I guess like the message could be learn and do better to help other people.
Yeah.
Like they have the happy ending because of their choices.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree completely. Ethics. I mean, there's a lot of obvious ethics, but to bring in a literary critical lens, post-colonial theory is about colonization, like and who is colonizing who, and what are the effects of that? How do the colonized react? And there's obvious all throughout this movie, but I was most interested in the doctor-patient relationship. And where is the line between the doctor is helping and enabling the patient to be their best selves, and on the other hand, the patient is inserting what they want the patient to be into them. And I think that can be true of teachers, that can be true of politicians, administrators, anything. And so the ethical question is it our right to colonize people, to put what we want them to be or what we think they should be into them? So I'm going to ask you that. I have an answer, my opinion or whatever. So is it ethical? I know, like, as teachers, we're teachers. So is it ethical for us to try and create in our students whatever it is that we think that they should be?
Is the best answers like, I mean, like, here are the
I don't know
tools
that there
for
is a
you.
best
You know,
answer.
like as a teacher, it's like this is not how to think or do. This is just how the tools for you to figure that out on your own, maybe.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. But even then, so like my class is entirely built around creating critical thinkers.
Yeah.
So even in that goal, am I not colonizing my students in some way? Like I am because of who
they're all
I am, because of
followers of
right.
Dietz.
Sure, because of who I am, my
Yeah.
reputation, whatever. Am I unethically using that to create? Like I say it all the time. I am creating an army of critical thinkers to go out and fix the world. I say that all the time. So is that ethical for me to be doing? That's kind of the question.
I mean,
I personally think it is, but
I think it is too, if I'm being honest. Because I kind of think naturally, you know, there's just people in our lives we like or not like or want to
be like
gain things or throw things away or whatever. I don't know. I think it's kind of all like, is it a choice even sometimes? It's like, that person's a good person. Or I like something about...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know,
the kids, it's the colonize. So it's ethical if we allow the colonizees to choose.
Yeah, because here's what I'm thinking. We're teachers.
Oh,
We've gone
there we
through a
go.
lot of like...
That's the right answer.
There's,
well done.
There's a lot of... What is it called when we have people come teach us how to be better?
Oh, the pumpy uppy people.
Yeah.
Motivational speakers.
We get, I don't know, as teachers we get motivational speakers and it's like, this is how you should do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, seeing it, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do all of that. I think we kind of pick and choose what we like.
Sure. Okay. So then the teacher-student relationship is not really a colonized relationship because the students decide if they accept it or not. Like, no matter what we do, there's no way that we are going to get whatever it is we're teaching into the head of someone that refuses to learn it.
Yes.
And that's okay. I like that a lot.
As much as I want these kids to love Hamlet as much as I do, that's not going to happen.
So it is not a colonizer relationship.
I don't think so.
I like that a lot. You have changed my entire view of this topic.
Well, that's good.
Like a lot of the other questions of this movie, like, I don't know. I don't have a definitive answer for any of them, which is what makes this movie, in my opinion, a great movie. Mm-hmm. Because it forces us to think about things that are pertinent to our lives, pertinent to the lives of the people around us that we frequently don't think about because we're not in the habit of it. We've never been presented it. All of that. So, in preparing to take notes on this movie, I purposely made a copy of a template that I used to use like ages ago, and at the bottom of it was dessert.
The dessert of the real.
So for this movie, I chose squirrel.
Okay.
Squirrel is the dessert of the real for this movie.
You could have chosen horse's head too.
We could have, but the squirrel I think is more important because it's a symbol of like they're doing their best. They are limited in whatever mental or physical way. Yeah. And they're doing their best. They are in a better place now, I think most of them would say, than they were before under salt. Mm-hmm. Yes, the food is less awesome, but everything else is more awesome. And so the squirrel kind of symbolizes that, we're willing to give up good food for all of the rest of this, for the freedom. So like that's the freedom versus justice. It's probably freedom. Yeah, so... Yeah, they get to have their fancy little party. Yeah, even though they're just eating squirrel. But they're happier than they were under salt. Yep. Hey, that's cool. So anyhow, I absolutely love this movie. I don't know that it's necessarily a perfect movie, but this is one of the movies that has consistently come back. Even if I haven't watched it recently, I consistently come back to it. And ponder various aspects of this. Are you going to read this short story now? Or maybe, yeah. This conversation has made me appreciate it and like it more. That seems to happen every time. So it must happen with every time I choose the movie, too. Maybe if you chose better movies. Well, luckily for you, our next movie is pretty good. Casino Royale? Yeah. I have watched it, and I actually agree. But you've not seen any other ones. I haven't seen any of the other ones. I don't like James Bond at all. James Bond, I mean, we'll get over into his legacy more in depth next episode, but Daniel Craig did 5. Cool. And it's kind of nuts we haven't got another one, if I'm being honest. Like, is he the last Bond? Well, I mean, they have said or Bond the most recent Bond. Yeah, and like Amazon's bought the franchise. It's all this nightmare we'll get into, but it's been kind of a while now. Like... It's weird that they haven't recast or rebooted or something. Is Bond the series with the most entries, or is that Godzilla? It's Marvel. Marvel is. Oh, Marvel. Mm-hmm. Oh, Marvel in shorter time has had more movies than movies that started in the 60s or 50s, like Bond or Godzilla. But James Bond has 20 something. Godzilla has more, but Marvel has a lot more. That's unfortunate. We'll get into more James Bond stuff tomorrow. I think Casino Royale is a good movie. Yeah, I only saw it once, but I remember enjoying it a lot. Maybe I will discover a hitherto unknown love for action movies. I can't imagine. And I will suddenly enjoy all the absurdity and stupidity of the events and the plots and the bad guys. Yeah, I mean, to reveal my hand. What do you want to rule the world for? Anyway, what's the point of that? What is that going to give you? Casino Royale's credit, that's not the bad guy's goal. That's the goal of every other friggin' Bond guy. You're not wrong. That's the stupidest goal. What would you want that for? You know, if I owned the world, I'd go wherever I wanted to. How about that? Oh, great. Get yourself a jet and go do it. I probably couldn't unless I own the world, Deets. That's one of the main reasons that Bond drives me nuts is they're just absurd. We'll get it. Yeah, we'll get into it. I'm sure. I will have no end of tirades. Out of 5, there's 2 I don't like. But oh dear. Hey, I'm actually a little bit looking forward to it. Yeah. Because I love Daniel Craig. He's a really good actor. Yeah, he's a very good actor. Anyway, I think you'll like him even more by the end because he puts some stuff in Bond. Do we get depth in Bond? Well, we'll see. Finally. You'll tell us, Deets. All right. We love you. Yep. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
I really hope you watch this movie because I really think that it's just an amazing piece of cinema at every level.
Yeah, and there's a lot to think about. Not all movies do that.
No. Sometimes Harry Potter movies happen, and
sometimes Harry Potter things happen.
and Pirates of the Caribbean things happen.
You get their name out of your mouth.
Tolkien things happen.
Okay, now you're just
Marvel things happen.
Well, you have some say there. But... You're right. We love.
There's no way that you can ever defend The Hobbit.
The Hobbit, I cannot. But Lord of the Rings, you are just blatantly wrong, and I'll never.
That's fine. I will still let you come eat lunch in my room.
All right. Hey,
we love you
critically.
guys. Please.